It's that time again. Grab a friend, sit down, no wind a bit. Tack a J, keeping it real. Can't you see the appeal? They got the jokes, the smoke, and the current events. You know the deal. Soak up that lemon water, tell all your friends. Encouragement for your flourishment is where we begin. Have you heard of it? It's sustenance. Where have you been? Free your mind.
Welcome back to another episode of the Lemon Water Chronicles podcast, man. I'm your host, Tac. Tonight, we got Shambria on the show, man. Give it up for her, man. What's going on, Sham? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Tac? I am super excited to be on here, and I'm just ready to dive into how we can help, encourage, or whatever we need to do to help people turn their lemons into lemon water.
Hey, man, that's all I'm saying, man. And I'm actually glad that you said that first. That's like one of the lead-off questions I like to ask is, when life gives you lemons, how do you make lemon water?
I have to process it and stuff. It's not one of those things that I could just drink because I'm an overthinker, over process a lot of stuff. So I have to like sit there and like, okay, what can help me to be able to turn these lemons in my life into lemon water? So it's like, okay, God, like, what do I need to do? Yeah. Help me. So I pray about it, and God started downloading or giving me, sugar here and a little tackle there and this, that, and the third. So and using the tools that, he puts me with to add that extra sugar to be able to turn my lemons into lemon water.
Hey, that's it, man. So like, for those who don't know, like you have your own, it's more like a podcast, or is this a live talk show? What do you categorize it as?
So I actually categorize When Passion Speaks as a IG series. So for those who may not be aware, When Passion Speaks, or WPS, is a passionate platform that allows people to come on to speak their passion to the masses, especially in a society that shuts them up. So what I mean when I say society shuts them up, it may be a thing of, different policies being passed that makes you feel like your voice isn't heard, or it may be a coworker or a supervisor that says something to you and you got to make sure that you don't say anything out the way. So it provides this opportunity for those to be able to talk and be able to get their point across in a society that's not necessarily shutting them up per se, but creating barriers for them to not feel the encouragement to talk. So that's what it is, When Passion Speaks. But more than, anything, back to your initial question, it is an IG series more than it's a podcast.
Let it flow, man. You're killing it. Let it flow. Killing it. So When Passion Speaks, like, I want to get into that more. And guys, you can check that out on Tuesdays on IG Live. Tuesdays on IG Live. I've been on the show. My wife has been on the show. Then we both have been on the show. I think it went in that order, or us, and then either way, we've been on there. And it is truly a recharging experience. It definitely makes you think about why you chose the person that you chose, and why you also chose yourself first to be ready for that person as well. So I would say that it's definitely an eye-opening show that this world needs.
Thank you.
Keep doing it, man. Because it's inspiring. And then when you see people that you don't know, or people that you do know that are in relationships, you don't even realize who they are as an individual as much until you start asking them those questions. And, why did you choose this person? Or why do you feel this way about that person? And like how intricate you are with your questioning in the process. And like, it's just very inspirational. So I have to give it to you.
Thank you so much, Tag. That's the whole premise of it, is to take. So, for instance, when I went to get my bachelor's degree, I got my bachelor's degree in journalism, but ultimately I had at that particular time wanted to be an actress and be on TV, things like that. But I ended up getting my my bachelor's degree in journalism. But what I found during my time in undergrad, I was a part of our on-campus radio station, WSTL, and my radio personality name at the time was Lady Passionate Love. So I've always been a passionate person, even when I pledged the non-Greek at Stillman. Shout out to Chancellor at Social Club, CSC. My line name is Passionate. So passion is it for me. And I remember interning at 95.7 Gems out of Birmingham, and I enjoyed it. I just didn't intern long enough. And I kind of, in a sense, felt defeated because I didn't intern long enough. I didn't really have a set job opportunity afterwards. So I was like, you know what, bump it, this, that, and the third. But ended up getting my first master's in communication specialist. And what I realized is communication is always a part of me. Yeah. So to be able to see me create what I was trying to get from other people, there's nobody but God. Because I'm here trying to intern at this radio station, or I'm here at campus being a radio personality, but God has equipped me with the tools, the knowledge, the people around me to be able to create it in my own space and in my own way.
Facts. Drop the jewels, man. Drop the jewels, because people need to hear that. Especially like journalism is like, would that be considered a multimedia degree? So like a communications media or something like that?
So I would consider journalism the fundamentals of any type of mass communication, anything like that. Okay. So when I think about journalism, it's like, we call it the inverted pyramid, the who, what, when, where, why, how, all of those things. So I feel in order to be effective, whether it's in mass communication, whether it's through a podcast, whether it's through an IG series, you have to know how to write. You have to know what it is you need to capture. You need to know the who, what, when, where, why. You may not necessarily be like, so who are you? What do you do? This, that, and the third, but you're able to position or tweak your questions based upon what you learn from your fundamental principles, which is journalism. So I feel like it attributes to the whole notion of like mass communication, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes plenty of sense. No, like, I mean, I got my degree in pretty much like film, photography, that realm, but some people list it as like mass communications, communications media, formerly known as like telecommunications. They don't use that term anymore because it's like kind of like a dead term. But yeah. Like they all intertwine. I've had some journalism. There's a lot of journalism majors that would be in my building at A&M. I went graduated from A&M, and so we had the Morrison building was like where WJMB is located, and the band, and you know everything. So what would you say is like some of the challenges that you have faced like in life, but as well as like business, and how do you like overcome them with your passion? Like, how do you beat that?
So I would say one particular challenge that I have found in my journey in my adult life thus far is understanding my purpose. Because sometimes you can know what your purpose is, but not fully understand what it is. And because you don't fully understand what your purpose is, you're not able to fully operate in it. So my whole thing was, I felt like when it came to communications and stuff, I didn't know exactly where Shambria, fit in. And it's like, okay, I'm trying to position myself in a space that, to be honest with you, I don't even know what exactly it is I want to do. When people ask me, or used to ask me the question, Shambria, what you want to do with your degree? That's the $1 million question that every recent graduate is like, don't ask me that, bro. I don't know. Exactly. So it's the challenge of trying to fully understand like what God has called me to do. So in that, what I always tend to do again, Tac, is I just pray and consult God. That's a big thing for me. And whatever platform I'm on, whether it's WPS, whether it's Here Tonight, God is going to always be in my dialect, in my speech, because it's without God, none of this would be. So what I did was, the pandemic really sat me down and really helped me to hone in on, Shambria, what is it that you want to do, and pray about it. And I can honestly say that's when Passion Speaks birthed out. That's when a lot of what it was that I was seeking God to do, he was revealing to me. So initially the challenge was trying to understand what God's purpose for me in life and how I was able to overcome that was praying, trusting, having faith, believing in God for him to fully show his will and his way. So my will and my way can be in alignment with God.
Wow, that was a powerful answer. That was very powerful. I don't know. So like with the current world stuff that's going on like right now, what do you think about all that? And like, what is like, if you had an answer to give for it, what would it be?
So I'm gonna be honest with you, Tag. I don't think I do a good of a job with keeping up with world events per se. Like I know enough, but my mama tell me all the time, like, Sham, you need to start watching the news more and stuff. And we know the news can be depressing and daunting. So I try my best to not necessarily watch the news, but I'll go on like Yahoo or something. I check my email and read certain stuff. So with everything that's going on in the world as it relates to, they trying to take things out of school so people can't talk about it, critical race theory from this whole thing with Ukraine and Russia. Honestly, Tag, how I handle it, and I really, like I said before, I just pray. I don't know really enough to just be like, I honed in on it, and I intentionally don't try to hone in too much of what's going on in the world, but not to the point to where I shun myself away from the world to be oblivious. But the way I just handle it, like God, listen, you got this. I trust you, because at this point, like it's really out of our control. Like, yeah, people can come in and do whatever they need to do, but it's really out of our control. And it's like, God, we give it up to you, because at the end of the day, you the ultimate being. You gonna handle all this stuff. And where people sitting up here thinking they know what they gonna do, at the end of the day, they messing up their own lives. So that's really how I handle things and stuff that goes on in the world that I really don't care for.
Thanks.
Okay, so Tag, I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, God got it. So I'm gonna come back with the question with you. Now you asking me, how do I handle events and stuff? But the space that you're in, you having this, Lemon Water Chronicles podcast, like how is it for you, especially mentally, to be able to live in this world with everything going on? And how do you feel like people in society can take all these lemons that's going on in the world to make them into lemon water? I
would say, like in layman's terms and in a very vulgar manner, sometimes people just need to shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? They need to shut the fuck up and just kind of like focus on their own lane when it comes to stuff. I am a victim of like not really paying attention to my own lane as well. And it's like you get to looking at what somebody else, the physical, tangible things that people have, and then you kind of equate that to like some kind of success, or sometimes even the educational level that another person might have. But you never know what they went through to obtain it. You never know who they had to lose to be inspired enough to step out in the way that they did. And then the same thing goes for other people looking at me. Like they look at me and they say, oh, you have this show. How did you do it and all that? I'm just like, I just got inspired. Like I had an idea for it for a long time, and I just never acted on it. Just be cool and focus on your own lane, bro, and just grind that shit, Absolutely, Tech. I feel like a lot of times, like, because I know you and I had a conversation briefly, like in preparation for this, about, like your podcast and, when passion speaks and stuff. And like you said, when people start to hone in, again, talking about, focusing on your purpose, when you really hone in on your purpose, things will start to manifest. Like I'm a firm believer, like write down the vision, make it plain, all of that stuff. People want to talk about manifestation and stuff. All that is pretty much speaking things into existence, whether people want to say it in that way or not. So it's like you said, when people really focus on their lane and really hone in on what it is that God wants them to do, they'll be able to do whatever it is they need to do. And also being mindful, don't compare your path to somebody else. Like, for instance, Tech, you got a podcast, I have an IG series. Yeah. And even though it's two different things, it essentially serves the same purpose. Okay, we are two African-American individuals. Yeah. So in our society, sometimes it's like a dog-eat-dog mentality. I ain't finna help him because he doing this, or I ain't finna help her because she doing that. In my mind, it's like,
bro, why even think like that? There are certain things there are certain people and certain topics that WPS may not be able to tap into and to help people. Yeah. But Lemon Water Chronicles podcast can, and vice versa. So I feel like if people start taking that approach and stop trying to be better than the next man, but focus on you and how we can unify and help people be better individuals to pursue their goals, I feel like that will make a world of difference. Stop trying to compete with somebody else and help them out. And I think it's an honor and a privilege to even be in a space with you and to share in this platform, because I'm entering into your world, some things that I don't know as WPS, and I feel like it is an honor, and in whatever way that I can contribute to ensuring that Lemon Water Chronicles podcast reach the masses as a guest, I'm for it.
Man, I'm top. And that's like a big reason why I like to collaborate with people, because we help each other out in the collaboration beyond the screen, beyond the microphone, beyond the recognition of just like who a person is. And so it is fun. Like, it's fun for you to like just tap in for a few minutes, like 45 to an hour, or however long it is that you want to run with it, and it be something positive. Because that's the thing. Like, I started this show, and I say this a lot on almost every episode. I really wanted to do a show that wasn't geared around some kind of drama. Like, you know, most people's show have that, like, the drama led, I don't know. It's like they find some kind of creative way to say, I slapped the shit out of my girlfriend, watch this for 5,000 likes. And then it'd be a show about like opening water bottles. But they don't, nobody ever gets slapped. Like, nobody ever, like, I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody ever, nothing happens. And then it's like clickbait. And it's like with this show, but I really would just like to generate natural fans, natural people that watch the show, natural viewership and stuff like that. And that's the reason why it's going slow. Like, it's going slower to an extent, not in a bad way. I think it's just going, it's not like the rest of these people out here, they got like 100,000 views and stuff like that. And so, you know, I look at that at the beginning, I looked at it like, dang, man, why they not checking me out? But then after a while, it was just like, man, I'm just enjoying doing my show the way I do it. Until I decide to change it, it's going to be how it is. And those that tap in, and those that don't, they just don't.
But Tech, you said something very pivotal. What does a man, and I'm not trying to go churchy and stuff on there, but I'm just keeping it honest and keeping it real. What does a man profit if he gains the world and lose his soul? Okay, so I understand sometimes certain people that get these podcasts, get these series, and they want the ratings. I get that. Do what you got to do, make your coins, and you get all the likes. But my thing is, what besides monetary gain, besides worldly gains, what is it that you're gaining when you're losing your dignity, when you're losing your respect, when you have people coming to your show because they know they're going to see drama and not substance? And my whole thing is, with you creating a Lemon Water podcast, forget, like you said, forget the whole how many likes and stuff, this, that, and the third, because I'm a firm believer, if you have one like, by God, that trumps 1,000 likes from anybody in this world. And God can move mountains off of that one like, that one love, where somebody had to go years for it. So I feel like you, as a Black man, being able to take your podcast and have substance to it, it makes the world a difference. And people don't have much of that. And sometimes in life, you know, putting that on YouTube, it may seem, or it may even be true, your stuff may be overlooked as other people, but it's not overlooked by God. And where somebody, again, may be getting 10,000 likes, all you need is that one like from God, and He gonna shoot you up to the top. And I'm gonna go on and wrap my thing up while we continue on this. But no,
wrap
absolutely.
I didn't keep mine right too. Nah, man, I appreciate that.
Listen, I don't know.
It'd be, man, dude, because how far are you on your lock journey?
November is going to be 4 years, I think. Yeah.
Okay. 4. So what inspired you to do that? What inspired you?
Because I'm a lazy with my hair.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
So lazy with my hair, because I was lazy with my hair. One thing when I was, I had to go to a beautician because my mom tried to call herself put perms in my hair, and I asked if it was growing, that shit was breaking off, but that's neither here nor there. So by the time I got off to college, I'm like, okay, my hair long and it's healthy and this and the third, but I didn't have anybody to treat it. So it started getting like, you know, itching up in the back. So I'm like, going to cut it off. By that time, I'm like, you know, well, let me go on and cut this off. So I ended up cutting it off, and I went loose natural for probably like a year or two. With the thing with loose natural is some people's curl pattern is great. Some people it's very coarse. Like for instance, with the sit down with Brinks, your wife, like she has a natural curl pattern. That's just how it is in her hair. For me, it was like, I got to keep manipulating it to doggone make it, you know, and I'm like, bro, I ain't got time for all this. I'm not going to be trying to look like these people that sit on, what's it called? Coming to America, they get up off them chairs and they got this grease stain all in the back of their chairs. I'm not gonna do that. So I was like, you know what? Bump it. I want something that's low maintenance, that reflects me. And that's when I got my locks. So that was how it was initially. But Tac, as I'm continuing on this journey in my locks, I'm starting to realize the enlightenment, the awakening, more of my identity as a Black woman. Not saying that people that don't have locks, it's nothing like that, but this is just my experience and how I feel. I'm not talking about anybody else, but it's the identity growth that I am getting with my locks. And it's beautiful. I be thinking sometimes whether or not I'm gonna comb them out and stuff. I don't feel like I'm gonna let them be long. I think I'm probably gonna let them be right here, and anything longer than that, I'm just gonna probably cut those off. But I feel like just as long as I'm in the headspace I'm in right now, I'm not cutting these off. These my babies, and I'll enjoy them. What about you?
I was like either a sophomore or a senior in college. Like I was a cross between a sophomore and a junior. And I just kind of realized that I wanted more. I wanted to like connect it more like with my roots and stuff like that. And so I pretty much like started it for the spiritual aspect of it. I didn't know what that meant then when I would use that rhetoric as to why I chose to do it that way. But a lot of people had thought I was trying to like follow in the steps of Waka Flocka Flame at the time. And I was like, nah. I was like, you know, that's not why I'm doing it. I was like, I think Waka is a cool dude. And he's even more enlightened now, you know, as his age has, you know, grown and stuff like that. But nah, I just did it because I just felt like I wanted to be more tapped in with myself. And it's been my identity, not my complete identity, but it has become a big part of my identity because it's been a 12-year run. So you think about like I was 20 years old when I started. I'm 32 now. And so my whole 20s will forever be kind of like remembered to me being locked. So the last time I had like a fade or anything like that, it was like 2009, 8, somewhere in there. Around like 2009 is when I kind of like started pseudo looking at the possibility, but 2010 is when I actually like locked in for real. It took my hair about a year to lock though, because I had like really fine hair. So it took a minute for it to lock. But once it got locked in, it was straight. And I also had to figure out the right person who was gonna be doing the loctician stuff. You know, I was bouncing around for a while. But now I got like a pretty solid person.
And see, you said something important, Tac, the commitment. I think that's what ultimately locking is a journey of commitment. It's a journey of commitment. And it's not just the commitment to the lock. It's the commitment. It's helping you understand the importance of commitment in life. Like I tell people all the time, if they ask me about locking my hair, like I tell them, like it's a journey. It's a commitment. People like to consider it the ugly phase. I just consider it the embracing and stuff. So I feel like when you lock, you fully are understanding the importance of commitment in all phases and seasons, good, bad, happy, sad, ugly. So I feel like locking is not just the whole premise of your hair. It's the premise of understanding the importance of dedication, the importance of commitment, and the importance of self-awareness to be able to tap into who you are as a being in this world.
When people call it the ugly phase, I always feel like that's like Black folks that fall into the white supremacy shit where they feel like they have to look a certain way and be a certain way. And then even sometimes myself, like it's embedded in all of us because we grew up in like, I don't know how old you are, but I think we were around the same age. So like we came up in school like in the 90s and stuff like that. And we had to, you know, be all programmed and all be the same way and all read this book and not, and kids act like this and little girls act like this and little boys act like this. And then when you're looking at the books and stuff like that and examples, like they show like, this is what a man looks like. And it'd be like a white man, like just a regular white man, you know, no harm, no foul towards white folks, but it's like just a white guy. And then when they show the woman, it's a white woman, but they never had like a black male model. They never had a black model. They never had a black woman model. Now they're starting to kind of like, you know, people are listening to Black Twitter, they listening to all these like the social media. And so like the social media is like, I have my views on that, but it depends on where you look. Like where you point your attention is what makes it worthwhile. And that's literally with anything of life. I have the hardest time remembering that, especially when I'm going through something, or I thought I was good at something for a long time, and then now I'm being challenged by the very thing that I thought I was good at. And then it's like making me question, am I even in the right place? Like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But then most people say that when you are going through shit, yes, that means you might actually be in the place you need to be because you're being grown for something. Like you're being grown for another opportunity. Or when you thinking people not fucking with you for real, no, they really do fuck with you. It's just they were stressed out too, or they had some other shit going on, and you naturally attached yourself to it because you care about people and stuff like that. Or you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you was already ready to be off work. Like today, like I'm on this gig and it was cool and everything. It was cool the first day. It's like a 3-day thing. The first day was like rough, but it's like I'm an assistant. Like I'm being an assistant for someone else. It was fine for the first day. And then today, it was like fucking long, like completely different. The attitudes, the egos on set, bro. It wasn't it. And I was like, Lord. I mean, you know, I don't even think I asked God any questions today. I kind of was just like, yeah, I'm probably gonna get fired. and I was like, you know, I'm okay with that. I've been fired, you know, many times before. Like I'm going down a rabbit hole, bro. That's what happens. Like, you know, one bad thing happens, and another bad thing happens, or challenging. Challenging doesn't always equal bad. It doesn't. It doesn't always equal bad. Yeah. I can say that now after I'm off work and I'm glad the shit is over with. But it's like when you're in it, that's the hardest thing. Is like trying to remember that when you're in it.
But hey, you talking out when I be interviewing people too, I listen to them talk. I try very hard to actively listen to them so I can kind of pull out some stuff. Hence, this is where journalism coming from. Like you said a lot, and I want to hone in on something. So you talk about like the different challenges and things like that. So it's almost this thing for me. So you ask God for patience. God, and I'm ocean. So in this perfect world, it does not exist until we leave this world. Patience, God ain't just gonna be like, oh, here go patient. He's gonna make something shake to the point to where it's gonna test your patience. So for instance, if you gotta be at work at 8:00 and your car messing up, this, that, and the third, and need to defrost and all that stuff, and you leave the house at 7:50, and it literally takes you probably 12 minutes to get to work. You behind somebody, they going slow as hell, this, that, and the third. Yeah. That's within those moments that God is testing your patience. That's where the things that you are trusting and believing and asking God for, he's going to place you in situations to see, all right, I'm going to trust my daughter. I'm going to trust my son. They say they want patience. All right, I'm going to put them in a situation to test their patience to see if their patience is going to even develop. And when people start to understand it from their way, they're like, oh, shit, now. Right. Okay, so see what God doing. Let me go on and match God. But that's neither here nor there.
I know what you mean. Yeah, but like, match the energy for sure.
Let me match God. All right, God. You want to sit up here and test my patience? All right, G, I'm gonna go on and pretty much pass this test. And so yeah, even again, going back to the whole challenges and things, like whatever character building tech that you have discussed with God, whether it's been now, yesterday, or some years before that you may have not forgotten. I never take moments like the kind that you were in as a thing of like, damn, man. And sometimes some days just be like, but I always try to think about what could be a lesson that is learned in that.
And that's the acceptance is a tough wall that you have to climb without a harness, without at the most you probably have the cleats that you need to climb the wall, but you have to have the instincts on how to use your hands to get up the wall. Like how they say, like Hollywood is like a big ass wall. Like everybody's trying to get on the inside of the wall of Hollywood so they can get to like whatever they desire. Like they want to be a director, they want to be an editor, they want to be a camera op, they want to be DP. Everybody's looking for a crack. Cause like there's small cracks in the wall throughout the wall. That's what we had this saying back in when we were studying in film. But once you find a crack, they usually seal up after that. Like because that crack was meant for you and probably like one other person. Like you always try to reach back and grab somebody else to come with you that's looking for that opportunity. You have to remember where you were, where they are. But it's like you need to do the same thing in life. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't be everybody's friend. You can't always help everybody. You can't always, you know what I'm saying? Like you're not going to be able to just always do that. When the time is right, you got to have like the patience. You talked about praying for patience, and God will show you, God will give you opportunities to be patient. He's not going to give you like give you patience on a platter, all holier than thou and stuff like that. It's like, no, man, he's going to challenge you to be tapped in and be patient. So find it. And it'd be hard finding it, bro. Like, it's not really about getting out of the uncomfortable place. It's like learning how to thrive in the uncomfortability. And then you get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Like, you have to get used to it. Like, after a while, you're like, yeah, I'm just used to this shit. Like, I don't really... Yeah, I didn't say you end up liking it. No, you just get used to it. It's like, yeah, it's always like this. Every time I do this, it's always like this. Now you do have to have balance with that. You need to have balance. Like, yeah, you'll be uncomfortable here at work or whatever. But when you get off, you need to be off. Like, whatever you do with that time is what you need to do with that time for you. You got to be off. I don't know,
But yeah, I'm a firm believer on that. Like, I feel like social media can be very daunting and draining. A lot of times, I find myself being on social media scrolling and my eyes will start hurting. I'm not need to be off of it. Contrary to popular belief, even if anybody believes it, I'm not really a big social media person, honestly. I do, when passion speaks. So I look at it like this. When passion speaks, it's like every Tuesday. So I always try to make sure I have my set days to post for, when passion speaks. I've created, to be honest, I've created my IG to where it's strictly when passion speaks. And you'll see me pop in on my own timeline every blue moon. Because I just feel like when it comes to social media, people are going to post whatever they want to post. And that's fine. I'm not knocking that. But for where I am and where I feel like God is taking me, I want my social media to be a reflection of how God is using me, as opposed to I'm just gonna post myself because I'm cute today. I'm past that stage. The same thing with my Facebook. I'll make a post when it comes to making recaps for when passion speaks. But now I got to the point where I just share other people's stuff. I comment, that's how I want to show love. That's how I give back. So the way I do further engage on kind of like a laissez-faire is through my stories. So I intentionally, find certain stuff, funny stuff to post on my stories, not necessarily because I just want to, this, then the third, but I just want people to look at my stories and laugh. Like, if you look at my story and you hee and ha and you laugh, you got what you needed today to possibly day be a little bit better. That's it's always a method to the things that I do. So during the week for me, it's like not only do I have my regular, 8 to 5, but then I also have, working after hours, a more so like self-care approach. It's like I hardly be on social media on the weekends. I don't post. I don't even post on my story. And it's just something that happened organically. And I feel like when I take, even though I feel like 2.5 or a quarter of a day, because Friday really ain't no weekend for real. Sunday really ain't either, because you're preparing for Monday. But I really do feel like taking at least those days to really just hone in on who, your self-care, it'll help recharge you for the week. So I'm a firm believer. Sometimes it takes detaching from like social media stuff to be able to better show up when you are on social media. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've taken big sabbaticals from social media because I had literally moved from app to app throughout the year. So like we started with MySpace. That's how I'm showing my age. Like that's how far back it goes with me. And that's pretty much like all I had for a long time. And then when like Facebook came around, it was only available for college students. Like back then, that's how old it's like that's how old I am. So it's like Facebook was like you had to have an EDU ID and all that for you to even have an EDU email, rather, for you to even have that. And then when I could have Facebook, I didn't really care about it. Some girl set it up for me. I was in community college, and she was like, "Yo, you need to have a Facebook. Why you don't have a Facebook yourself?" And I was like, "Cause I live life. Like, I just be." I was like, I like riding around, I like traveling, I like taking pictures and hanging out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really want everybody to know what I'm doing all the time. Mm-hmm. But then I got into it. She got me on, and it became entertaining. Like, it became so entertaining that it was a distraction. And I wasn't getting work done. I wasn't living life for real anymore. I thought I was living life by being associated with this digital medium, like all of them, like and then it was Instagram, and then it, you know what I'm saying, like it was all of them. It's just like they got cool stuff, but then some of the stuff just gets really like repetitive and annoying, just like TV. Now I work in film, but it still be annoying. Like it's not like everything is just always peachy. It's like, no, man, and people always see the end product and think that it's just this fun job. It's so fun. It's so fun. It's like, it'd be ratchet days just like any other job. Like, whatever you love doing, you will hate it from time to time. Mm-hmm. But you always find yourself coming back to it because that's how you know you love it. Yeah. It's the same thing with relationships. Like, I feel like a lot of people are not really tapped in. Like, people think that your marriage is so perfect. I'm like, oh, it's not, man. Like, I'm not always this awesome person that you see in these pictures smiling and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I be going through stuff and she be going through stuff, and we try to figure out how to keep meeting back in the center, because like that's the covenant we made with each other. So it's like, if I'm not holding it down, she is. If she's not holding it down, I am. You know, and that's how you got to be with your career, with your real friends, if you are blessed to have some, with associates, you know what I'm saying? Family, like what else we got? Everything. And people just don't tap in. I love hard. I will say that much. I love hard. And I feel like that is something that bites me in the ass a lot too, because when things happen sometimes, I can really allow for them to affect me in a negative way. And a lot of people think that never happens, or that doesn't happen to me. You know what I'm saying? And, you just have to, it'd be tough, bro. Like, it'd be tough remembering that stuff when you're in it. Like we said in one of the other questions before, what we were talking about. But, oh, man, somehow, some way, man, you just got to find a way to get back to why you do love something. Whatever it is you're doing, you have to allow yourself to go through the process, feel the feelings. Like, don't try to push them off with the weed and the drink and the sex and all that other bullshit. Feel that shit. Feel it. Be upset. Yes. And then say you're upset. Own that you're upset.
Oh, no. So no, you are absolutely right. So especially when you have a feeling and tapping into it. So one thing that I have learned about myself over the years, and it's not a healthy trait, it's actually a toxic trait. Okay. Like you said, people have to understand they see you in this light, and it's great and it's fine, but people also have to realize you're human too. Like, you always ain't gonna be peachy and rainbows. But it's not my place to show you all the bad, but it's not my place to be fake and say that everything is good either. So one thing that, you know, that I've learned, and I'm continuing to learn, that a toxic trait of mine, Tag, is that I worry so much about what people say and think about me. And if they say something that I really don't like per se, I internalize it. Yeah, I don't like confrontation. So I'll try to avoid it. Now, my demeanor may change. I'm a big person. I can't hide my facial expressions. I don't care. A blind person can see it. So I don't hide my facial expressions. Well, this, that, and the third. So what I end up doing is when I flip, I flip. And it could be something, it could be one thing, but because I done bottled up everything else, it's going to be that on top of other stuff, on top of other stuff. And that's kind of an incident that happened the other day. But when I really tapped in, Tag, it made me realize, Shambria, this is not healthy. You sit up here being considerate of other feelings, of other people's feelings. They can tell you when they feel some type of way about you, why you can't say that, why you can't do the same. And if people don't understand it, family members, friends, the damn dog who needs something to eat, and you keep telling that dog no, whoever it is, like, if somebody can tell you something, you should be able to do it too. And again, like you said, honing in on those emotions and those feelings. And I feel like sometimes we get so caught up on this false reality as it relates to, they want to call TV and all this stuff reality, and it ain't scripted and stuff. I don't know all the ins and outs because you are in film, but I do feel like at the end of the day, just be real with yourself, be honest with yourself. Like you said, feel how you feel, acknowledge how you feel, handle how you feel, so you can continue to show up and navigate in life as a healthy and whole person, not H-O-L-E, a whole that people be trying to fill through other people, sex, drugs, pills, dogs, cats, meows. I'm talking about whole, W-H-O-L-E.
For sure. Yeah, that's a word right there. It's hard. It is difficult realizing that. And you do have to make sure that you find a way to train yourself to understand that. And that's one of the things that makes you a better person, a better parent, a better living being when it comes to like life in general. Like, you gotta be tapped in more. But then also it's cool for you to be tapped out for a little while so you get you a break. Because I think that the world does not permit rest. They mention rest, but they don't really like explain how that works. They don't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, they kind of just like, they brush it off like, yeah, you know, get you some R&R and then come back ready to work. And it's like you be coming back ready to work on other people's dreams. Like, unless the place that you work for is in your dream field, like that's what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Kroger is what you want to do I should have said that word, but whatever. Yeah, it's free promotion. But if that's what you want to, it's like, if that's what you want to do for the rest of your life, and you feel like, you know, that's where you want to be, or human services, that's where you want to be. Like, you know, you want to be a case manager, I've done that, you know, and that's not where I wanted to be. Like, it just didn't work out for me for real. And I wasn't passionate about it. I was there for the check. But I was passionate about the people when I found out how the business side of human services and 501c3s and what do you call them? I don't know, places like that, how they run. I was tapped. I was like, yeah, this shit is fake. I don't have time for this. Like, or at least I can't say that it was fake, but fuck that. I felt like the organization I was working for, I felt like they were very fake. You know, it made me lose my passion, what little passion I had when I started, and wanting to be there. And so, like, you know, my performance slacked. And I'm not gonna like make any excuses like I was always on time or I always had my shit together. No, I didn't. But at the same time, like, you know, what I will say is find something that you as an individual you're interested in. So that way you're not wasting your time. Technically, you can't waste time because the time that we have is the time that we have. And the choices that we make are the choices that we make. The question is, can you live with the choice you made at the end when you get your results? Like, you ain't studied for a test, so you get an F. You got to be able to live with that shit, knowing that you didn't study, you didn't plan to study, whatever you didn't do, they gave you the F. Or maybe you did study and then you just realized, well, this might not be where I need to be because I'm not even testing well in this area. So, you know, I feel like that the older generation is like, they put that on us a lot, that we, you know, you don't quit stuff that you start, but we can't also be like worried about money so much going into doing stuff. Like, you be happy going into doing stuff. You're not gonna always be happy. Like, you're gonna, like I said, I had a bad day at work today, literally, and I still want to be a filmmaker. I'll finish this job, and then on Thursday when I'm done, I'll be like, okay, so what did we get from this? You know, what did we get from this? Information. So information is the win. That's always the win on whatever you're dealing with. If you got information that you didn't have before you came into something, and if you're paying attention, you will, that's all that matters. Then the other thing you have is contacts. You need to use those contacts. I'm bad about that shit. That part of my ego is like worrisome. Like, oh, well, they might not want me to call them for real. Well, you don't know that until you call. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to give people a chance not to mess with you for real before you count yourself out of opportunities that are like right there in front of you.
Let me tell you something. I agree. Sometimes we talk ourselves or we internalize stupid hard about some stuff that's not even there. It's like, hell, 90% of the shots you miss by not taking it. You better go on and shoot your shot. Guys sitting out here passing you the alley oops to all these people and then be internalizing this stuff. But no, like to go back into like, you know, really finding out what it is you like to do. My boyfriend said something very pivotal, and it kind of coincides with, you know, what we're talking about right now. So the whole notion of, you know, you go to work from 8 to 5 or however you work, you're really, unless that's just the field that you want to be in, and there's nothing wrong with it, I'm not knocking it, but you go into this space, you go into these employments, and you're helping to make somebody else's dream come true. And he broke it down, I don't know word for word how he said it, but I'm just paraphrasing. And it's like, you are helping this particular person's last name or their family lineage make quarters of millions, billions of dollars, and shit, you only probably getting 30,000 of that thing that you contributing to. But then you got to sit up here and request time off. You got to sit up here and ask somebody, can you take time off for your own freaking mental health? Make that make sense to me. And he also broke it down too. He was like, you know, when you find yourself so absorbed in somebody else's dreams and goals, where does it leave you to continue on imagination, using your imagination, manifesting your imagination to be able to create the dreams and the goals that you want? So when he broke that down to me in his way, but I'm just paraphrasing it, I'm just like, damn, Shambria, like, you working for this particular organization, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like from 8 to 5, you contributing to making this nonprofit dreams come true, and they only pay you probably not even half of what they're making, because they making money even though it's a nonprofit. But that's neither here nor there. So it's like, what, you're working 8 to 5. By the time you get home, you tired as hell. You don't really want to. And it's like, I done spent 8 to 5 making somebody else's dreams and goals come true and compromising the very same dreams and goals that I know I have. And I'm just not exercising it because I need to make sure that my bills are getting paid. And it's not to say that you need to go broke. You still got to have what you need to have to pay your bills and stuff, but don't lose sight on the dreams and the goals and the purpose and the imagination. Still tap into it, still hone into it. And like we said at the beginning of this podcast, whether you get 10,000 million views or whatever, you keep showing up every single day, something gonna have to dang on bite. If you keep, that dog gonna bite one day. Right. Where am I getting at with that? I don't know the illusion of it, but you get what I'm saying? Keep showing up, and one day that opportunity will bite.
Keep showing up. And then I would say the other thing is, and I know we got to cut soon. I know, but I feel like it's been a blessing, man. We had to get on here tonight because you have to keep showing up for yourself. Like, fuck everybody else. Fuck the manager. Fuck the assistant camera. Fuck the DP. Fuck everybody. You know, don't worry. You know, they are where they are because that's where they supposed to be, or for whatever reason they work hard to get in that position. And then, you know, whatever it is that you want for yourself, that shit will be laid out for you, but you have to work for it. That's all it is. You just have to remember, okay, yeah, this shit hard for a reason. And whatever the reason is will be revealed in the next part of the script of your life. It will be revealed. So don't worry about it as much, because like even the Bible be saying be anxious for nothing. I don't know which scripture it is, but I know that's a big one that sticks with me because I be having the anxiety be like, I be like, like sometimes I'm just trying to figure it out. But it's like, just be anxious for nothing, man, and just like tap into whatever your greatness is. You know, tap into trusting yourself more and just believing that you can pull stuff off instead of you wondering the latter, like, oh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? It's cool to ask yourself how, but just know that you do have the answer within.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer. Like you said, I know we got to cut, but I will say this has been like a blessing. It's been an eye-opening. I wanted to say this to you, Tercel, as you was talking, like the enemy didn't want this to happen. That's why, you know, other stuff, you know, on your job today, of course, you know, things happen, but I feel like ultimately the enemy didn't want this to happen. He didn't want this knowledge to be shared. He didn't want this to be put out there. So I thank God that you persevered to be able to acknowledge how you felt, say how you felt, and you gave room for your feelings to be acknowledged by yourself. And then you were able to come on and to show up. And this is therapy. So I'm so happy that you even decided to still pursue this and still to even have, it's an honor to even be on here to try to help shed light on people that life is going to throw you lemons every single damn day. Yeah. But again, some people don't like lemonade because it's too sugary, high hypertension and stuff like that, all this sugar, granulated sugar, cane sugar, turbinado, whatever it is. So if people don't like lemonade, then lemon water, it's a little bit healthier. You got your lemon, but you also got the essence of who you are, water, so you don't be dehydrated by haters. You don't have to be dehydrated by people getting on your nerves. You don't have to be dehydrated. And then you got that lemon to just add a little bit of squeeze to it to give you a little essence. So take that, run with it, do whatever you want to do. All I'm saying is I am just thankful that you saw fit for me to be on this platform. And all I'm going to tell you, Tech, like, keep going, keep pushing, keep striving, keep letting God use you, keep showing up. You keep doing what you're doing. Don't, and not even for a second, I know you not, but just continue to affirm you. Don't let the Lemon Water Chronicles podcast be compromised by anything, because again, just in a blink of an eye, God can show up and show out and elevate this thing here and blow your freaking mind. So keep doing it. Keep showing up. Keep letting God use you, because I promise you, just as much as it's feeding you, it's feeding me. It's feeding everybody that come on here as a guest, and it's feeding people who are watching that you know and that do not know. That's it.
Receive, man. I received that. Yo, and then let them know where can people find you at? Where do you want them to follow you? You know, your page and all that kind of stuff. Just drop it. It's gonna be on the. It should be on the screen.
Yeah. So people can find me on Facebook, Shambria Davis. What you gonna see on there is just me showing love and supporting people, just sharing their stuff. So if you want to see that side of me, then definitely hit me up on Facebook, Shambria Davis. The main one is IG. So you can find me either Sham D ... That's me, Or you can do the @unapologetically_passionate. That's long, so that's how come I do that. Sham D, that's me. So you can find me on those platforms. As Chuck said earlier, I have an IG series, When Passion Speaks. It drops every Tuesday, with the exception of this past Tuesday or whatever. But it drops every Tuesday. We always are looking for different content, different topics to talk about. So you can definitely find me very active on Instagram Live as well as on Facebook.
That's what. That's what's up, man. Thanks for checking out the show, man. We had Sham B on tonight. I want y'all to just take everything that was brought to the light tonight. That we hope that it helped y'all. You know, we hope that if anything, we made you laugh. Some of y'all, we probably made you to cry, which was good because you probably needed to release those endorphins. And just tap in the next time you catch us, man. Peace.
Lemon water, when life gives you lemons, make lemon.